We're going to start with, there's been a lot of video game news, and Josh is going to kind of walk us through everything that happened on that front. Since Corey's not here, Corey and Josh are...
He picked a heck of a week to not be here.
What are you doing, Corey? But yeah, Josh is going to walk through some of the news.
Yeah, so we just had a couple pretty big purchases. So Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard. So they spent, well, it's reported $68.7 billion dollars to purchase them.
That is insane.
Which is crazy money. But I mean, Activision Blizzard, they make all sorts of games, even the Call of Duty games. So I don't know. I don't think they've announced yet whether or not their plan moving forward is they're going to be platform exclusive to Microsoft, PC and Xbox essentially, or if they're going to still make cross-platform games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because Microsoft already bought Bethesda last year for $7.5 billion. So Microsoft's just splashing cash.
They definitely got the money.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. And then I think it's probably a good situation for Activision Blizzard because they've had all this bad publicity, like pretty crappy corporate culture. So I think being bought by Microsoft is a good way for them to say, I don't think they had announced whether or not the CEO is going to be gone, but if I were a betting man, I'd say, they're like,
probably.
Hey,
this seems like a fresh
thanks, buddy.
start.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And so,
this is the time to do it.
You put in a new CEO, you say, hey, we're a new company, we're changing things, and we're making all these games. So one of the ones that just got announced was, I don't think it has a title yet, but it's they announced a new survival game, and it's just early development. I think a lot of the language around it was like, hey, we want you guys to help us build this new world, basically. So they're just teasing that. So it'll be interesting to see what that game ends up being 6 years from now when it comes out.
And is that going to be a PC and console, or
I don't think they've even announced anything like that.
Because it's Blizzard, right?
Yeah. So it's their new IP that they're working on essentially, which is exciting because, Blizzard doesn't really make new IPs. I mean, the last one they had was Overwatch was their brand new IP. So they'll be working on that, which will be exciting. And then Sony was like, hey, you're spending cash, we're spending cash. So they bought Bungie, that got announced today, for $3.6 billion. So that's another interesting move. So Bungie was the original developer for the Halo games. Now their big game that they make is Destiny.
Does Bungie own like a bunch of different little studios?
I don't know. I think they might, but I'm not sure.
Because there was a lot with
with Activision Blizzard, there was like a huge list of every single this studio that's under Activision Blizzard. Which is why the deal was $68.7 billion.
Right.
So we'll see what happens with Bungie. But I think there's some analysts out there that are even saying it's just going to keep happening. Like they're just going to keep buying other studios. Basically. And then Nintendo's going to be like, hey, have you ever heard of Mario Kart 8? And then we're going to eat it up, baby.
Yeah. Well, here's a question for you guys. Corey, you can answer in the comments.
Hey, like and comment.
Text me, Corey. Do you think this is a good thing? Okay. So I talked to Joel. Joel's kind of like talking to us, my brother in Mexico. Shout out to Joel. But he was mentioning that this would be good he mentioned Call of Duty. The Call of Duty comes out like every year. It's kind of just like a new skin on it.
Right.
And he's like, but they're actually going to give it time and maybe develop something that's better. It's not going to be, I think they announced that it's not going to be a year release. Right, yeah. Now it's going to be a little longer. So I think that's a good thing.
Year and a half.
But I'm just wondering, because there is, I don't know if it's the same thing since I'm not a gamer. I don't know if this is the same kind of thing as Disney, buying out studios. They bought out Fox.
Right.
And so what I don't like about that is when one studio controls everything, it becomes a formula. My complaint with Marvel movies and stuff like that. So is this a similar thing where now Microsoft is going to be like, okay, this is what we want to happen, or are they still going to let studios kind of do their own thing?
I think it's different. I think that the video game studios have more of like a creative control or creative input than like Disney with their movies. I see it as, I think it's different. I think if anything, it might give Microsoft more of like a monopoly feel, which could be a bad thing. But yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like, I think the only danger, if you want to call it, is like you said, the monopoly feel of like Microsoft owns all these games that are coming out. They're Microsoft exclusive.
Right.
All these games that are coming out are Sony exclusive, and might get
a Nintendo
exclusive. So you've got, three bigger companies that are control basically everything, and you have to own. I mean, with Microsoft, it's easier because you can do PC gaming and Xbox. But I think, as far as like creative direction, each studio is unique to it, and they have their own director. They only have their own, whatever, the head of the company at their studio that's basically directing things. I'm sure they probably have directives from Microsoft, but honestly, I think it's just Microsoft being like, hey, give us that cash. We're just trying to make some money. So it's not a similar situation with like where Disney's like, we're gonna, like they had set the clear line of like, this is what we're gonna do. Like, I'm sure they do have directives, but I think it's a little different with gaming studios.
It's funny though, because it seems like not even like a year ago that people were saying like, oh, I think the console wars are over. They seem like, there's so much cross play and stuff, but when I see stuff like this, to me, that still screams to me that there are clear lines drawn and people wanting to go to a certain company and play on a certain platform. So I think the console wars are good. Again, it goes against the monopoly thing, but
well, the next thing will be Game Pass, because Microsoft is working on Game Pass. Sony already announced, or they've already said that they're looking into a similar service for Sony. So that's, I think, probably the next big thing is streaming games, basically. So, and then there was some more. We've got a couple new announcements for Star Wars games that are in development. So there is a list of current Star Wars games that are in development. So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 from Respawn. Woo-hoo. So that was just announced. Then there's the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, which we already knew about. The Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, which has been in development for
I already pre-ordered it.
3, because you wanted that Luke with
Luke
blue
minifigure.
So that game is finally coming out after being delayed for I don't know how many years.
It looks legit, by the way.
It does look sweet. It's like completely different.
And I feel like I'm going to get a headache.
It's like a third-person shooter, basically. And then there's the Star Wars Eclipse game that we've talked about. Star Wars Hunters is like a little arena battle game.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah, when it got announced at E3 last year. And then the other new announcement from Respawn was a Star Wars first-person shooter game, which is exciting to see what they're going to make. Battlefront is fun and all, but I think it'd be nice to have a nice story-driven first-person shooter. Because Battlefront's just, I'll play some multiplayer. Battlefield with a...
it gets big, it's mindless.
Yeah, with a Star Wars skin. Yeah. And then there is a open world Star Wars game at Ubisoft. I don't know, we haven't heard a lot about that one yet. That's in development. And then the other new announcement was a Star Wars strategy game from Respawn and Bit Reactor. So that'll be an interesting one, because I'm guessing it's going to be similar to XCOM, with the strategy, where you're
XCOM or like a Age of Empires type of strategy.
I thought it was like a.
I mean, either. There have been like a Star Wars Age of Empire game before, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's a real time strategy. I think it's more of like the, like Mario versus Rabbids, that type of like, and yeah, it is XCOM, right?
Great game.
It is a fun game. But yeah, so those are the new games that were announced. So lots of new Star Wars.
Yeah,
they probably won't be ready for a while though, right? This is like 3 to 4 years down the road.
I don't know about Jedi Fallen Order 2, because I would imagine they didn't. They've probably been working on it. I would imagine.
Hopefully they fix the map.
So
situation.
Oh, in terms of just like
I can't that. I would play that game and be like, where do I have to go? Like, I can't get back to that spot where I was.
Yeah, that map
And the
is
map
pretty
was so
brutal.
bad like, I couldn't tell where I was. And so I'd like end up playing for 2 hours and just go in circles and end up throwing my remote.
well, they tried. I think they
Control.
Playing with the Wii.
Remote
that's why-
control.
I feel like they tried to make it more manageable with the whole door color thing. But
Yeah.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Hey, tell me how to get back to my freaking ship.
Yeah. Or like, hey, let me drop a waypoint or a check or
Yeah.
Well, in one
Point
of
or
the
something.
in one of the levels, you were supposed to open a shortcut, and I missed it. So then
Sucker.
it's that planet where you have like your ship here, and then you go around this way to the town.
Yeah.
But then you can open up a spot here that then just is a fast access. And I didn't open it, and so I was like looking on YouTube to be like, how do I get back to the spot? And the guy was like, oh, we'll just do the shortcut. And I was like, I missed the shortcut, so now I had to go through the whole town again. It was the worst. Anyways, hopefully the second one because I enjoyed the game
fixed the
except
map.
for that.
I'm whenever it's coming out, I'm really excited for it. I love that game. Little nitpicks of the map, but do you think it'll still be Cal Kestis?
Yeah, it has to.
I think so. Yeah.
I've heard people saying otherwise, but I would love for Cal Kestis. He's a really cool
Like you're a different person, and then you meet up with Kyle Kestis. Like, because I feel like he'd have to still be part of the story.
That's what I would think too. But I would prefer just to play him again.
Yeah, me too.
Because there's definitely more story there to be told.
Yeah. It'll be exciting. It's nice that we're out of the EA only
Yeah.
era of Star Wars games because we get more variety. And there
Share the load.
there were those games that were there was that first person or no, it was a third person like adventure game
It was
by
like
the
an
Uncharted
Uncharted.
people. And then
That
it
made me so
got
mad.
canceled.
That made me so mad.
Oh, and then also this was before the Disney acquisition, but there was the
18,
13.
level 13. I think they just leaked video of
Yeah, I
like
saw
some of the
that. It was
gameplay.
Boba Fett running
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
So that's like another one of those cool games. It's like, man, let me play as Mando.
Next thing, we got 2 trailers to discuss. Moonknight trailer, which is 2 weeks ago or something, but we're late to it. But it looked
Breaking
interesting.
news, guys.
It looked interesting to me. I don't know much about Moonknight. Apparently, he's like close to Batman. Like people compare them all the time, just in white.
Because it's Dark Knight and Moon Knight. Is that why?
I don't know why.
I mean, there are like surface level similarities. He, is the guy in the shadows.
Yeah.
He throws
Batarangs.
moonarangs. One of his alter egos is like a playboy millionaire. So there are like stuff like that, but. In my opinion, I think the similarities kind of end there.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I kept saying about who's better, Batman or Moon Knight. I was like, well, obviously Batman, because I've never heard of Moon Knight in my life.
I mean, Moon Knight is a really cool character, and he's very unique in his own right. So,
And it looks cool. The trailer looked really cool.
Yeah.
Again, this was one of those trailers I'm like, okay, I'd watch this, It seems interesting. I don't know what's going on in it. What did you guys think of the trailer?
like I said, always liked the character. I think he's more of an interesting one to have his own series. A lot to dive into, especially with the more horror kind of mystery aspect that the show seems to be going into.
Like Scooby Doo.
Like Scooby-Doo. Well,
Scooby-Doo
Scooby-Doo this crap. And Oscar Isaac, he just looks so good in the show.
That dude's making bank,
Yeah.
as in everything. It's like him and Tom Holland have all the roles in Hollywood.
You mean
Oscar Isaac-
you mean Timothy Chalamet?
Okay, yeah. Well, those 3 guys.
Oscar Isaac's in Uncharted, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg. Close enough.
But no, the show looks great. I'm excited for it. After Hawkeye, I'm pretty on board with the Marvel shows.
That's right. You guys liked Hawkeye. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choop, what'd you think of the trailer?
I thought it looks cool.
Cool.
I was already excited, like interested by it because Oscar Isaac and stuff like that. But yeah, just everything I saw in the trailer looked really cool and interesting.
Yeah.
And then I like the kind of aspect. Does he have like personality disorder?
Yeah, it's multiple personality or whatever the official name is. But
Yeah.
he has like he has an identity of like a taxi cab driver, the university teacher, a millionaire playboy guy, but I don't know how many they're gonna have.
He's split.
He's also like a mercenary person.
Nice.
So
he's an X-wing fighter pilot. He's
lord of
a house in a desert planet.
But yeah, it looks cool. Like you said, Mick, I think you and I are the ones that are on board with the Marvel shows than those other two clowns. But
yep,
it looks cool.
Corey's not here to defend himself. Suck it, Corey.
This one looked cool. I mean, it looked cool. I liked what I saw, and so I was intrigued. Another trailer that dropped, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
Was the Halo trailer. I know nothing about Halo. When I played Halo, when it was like
on the
really
original
big,
Xbox,
when it was like in high school, like people would go to school and plug in their Xbox and just play all the time, and I would get destroyed every time. So I didn't play it. So none of this is exciting for me because I don't know any of it. My initial reaction for someone going into and seeing it, it looked a little cheap to me.
I had the exact opposite thought.
I don't know if it was like he looks cool, right? But I'm just saying it kind of felt Star Trek-y.
like a CW.
I mean,
it felt Star Trek-y to me.
It is Paramount, right?
Yes, and so it kind of
are Star Trek,
right? So it kind of had that feel to me.
Probably a lot of the same people worked on it.
Yeah.
Same
So
as Discovery and stuff.
I don't know. To me, that was my just not knowing anything about it.
Do we know the budget for the show?
No, I have no idea.
But there's where his hand shaking. Like there were certain scenes that I was like, that seems a little like cheap to me. I don't know.
His hand shaking looked cheap. There was no CGI in that
was shot on an iPhone.
Well, he didn't do a good job at shaking. I could tell he was not really shaking. He was moving his hand like this.
He lost all credibility. If you would have said the aliens looked a little funky,
That alien did look a little funky.
I thought it looked good. The Covenant, I think.
Well, yeah, but you guys like Marvel shows, so I'm not shocked that you guys are like, "Hey, it looks great." You guys eat this stuff up.
I'm very surface level Halo knowledge. Most of my Halo knowledge comes from Red versus Blue, which is not canon at all to the Halo universe. But some of the stuff that I saw in the trailer, it did kind of connect with very little things I know. But I thought the trailer, really good. I don't know if I will get Paramount Plus. I'm kind of upset that it's on there.
Just wait till all the episodes come out and do a free trial. Binge it.
Good
Pro
idea.
tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of look cheap. No.
Are we going to agree on something?
No, I don't think so. He looks really cool.
Yeah,
and I think that's what you have to nail if you're doing a Halo show. You better Master Chief better look freaking sweet. Yeah. And I think he looks really cool. I just think it's like the sand venue that looks a little funky to me. And I don't know if it's like just the coloring that looks kind of weird to me. But other than that, like I thought it looked interesting.
You guys thought that hologram girl looked good?
She's a freaking hologram.
She looked cheap to me.
Okay. Sure, she looked cheap.
Okay, all right. We agree. It looks cheap, guys.
Anyway. But yeah, there's just way too many shows out that I don't think, I don't know if I'll ever, I mean, I might try it, but I'm the same with you guys. Is like, I remember certain things about Halo, like I maybe played through one or two and not the rest, but it was so long ago that I don't really remember the story at all.
Yeah, I was never an Xbox kid or a PC kid to that certain point. So I
just always get killed with that stupid sword. They'd come up, they'd be shooting up, and they'd jump up around. I'd be trying to shoot them, and then they just come up and dead in one shot.
Be better.
Yeah, that's why I'm sticking to the Lego Star Wars. And last quick things. Maybe you guys don't care about this. Maybe some of you out there do care about this. But Percy Jackson, Disney Plus show was announced. I know these are from books that people really like these books. Does Crystal read these books? No?
I'm gonna read that drivel.
I don't know.
Just kidding.
I don't know.
I think we missed the Percy Jackson boat. It was for younger
The
kids.
literal boat. Isn't there a boat in the?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a boat. Yeah. Maybe a train. There's probably a lot of things. Anyway, so that was announced. And the other thing is, in Star Wars news, Mary Elizabeth Winstead was cast in Ahsoka. People don't know who she's playing. Some people are saying that she's playing Princess Leia, which to me is like,
why would you do that?
that's what I'm saying. But some people are like, she would fit in that era. She's really doing stuff with. She was Huntress in Black Mask, for those that have seen that. And Black Mask and Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. So some people are saying that she's Leia, which I don't think it is, but they're saying that because she's doing all this stuff in that era with the New Republic and all this kind of stuff, it would be interesting. Might be something. But she's a good actress. I'm just interested to see any casting that has to do with Ahsoka, because I think that series is going to be really good. But yeah, do you guys have any thoughts on that? Nope.
Don't care. She might as well have been cast in the new Christopher Nolan movie.
That's a mad cast.
I don't. Yeah.
I mean, she's an actor. She's like does good her own stuff. Like he was good in the Harley Quinn movie. Like
Black
I think
Mask
she would.
movie.
I think she would fit in. She would fit in Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. She was good in which Cloverfield was she in?
10, 49,
Yeah.
no, 49. I don't know. I never
Yeah.
watched.
Black
that
Mask Lane.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about her playing Leia, but
Yeah,
She
better not
could
play
look
Leia.
like her.
yeah.
I guess so. I don't know.
Nah, don't need it.
Yeah, that's my question. Like, why would?
Okay, so I'm going to push back a little bit.
How old would?
It's around the time that Mando's happening. So this is right after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So
So
this
I guess
is
the age would.
this is her when she's doing all the stuff with the New Republic and all the political stuff with all that kind of
Luke
stuff.
training her, or is this after?
This is probably around that time. So people are saying that there would be, if they want to tell stories involving Luke and what Leia's doing and what Han's doing during this time, would they use her? Some people are saying maybe they're using her as a double, like they did with the Luke actor, who kind of, but they kind of do the face stuff with
Seems
her.
like too big of a name though.
Yeah.
Just that. Because
I don't know.
that thing kind of goes against what I think we've said on here before is like, well, we know what Han Solo looks like at this point. We know what Luke looks like at this point.
The difference is they're not dead and she is. R.I.P.
Well, why would that?
What I'm saying
How
is,
does that make a difference?
what I'm saying is, we know what they look like, but in this situation, if they wanted to tell a story, they're like, hey, we don't have an option to be like, hey, let's use her and use her likeness, but we need to recast because we have a story we want to tell with her. Does that make sense?
No.
Moving forward,
That doesn't-
I think with Luke and Han, you still have those actors that you can use, right? Because they use Mark Hamill, but they can't.
They did, but at this point, they have all their pictures in a database
Yeah,
that they
why
can
would
pull
they
anyway.
need
They already did it with
Tarkin?
Rise of Skywalker,
Well,
and they
here-
already did it in Rogue One.
Right, but
So-
the difference is if this is if this is a difference than one scene, and she's actually playing a bigger role and having like longer scenes, I think people would be able to notice more. Like if it's a CGI Leia, if you're having like her carry a show or being more be like a main character in the show, I would rather have a recast and have a character play that than have like a CGI and then have people complaining all the time like, oh, it looks weird. When she talks, she looks weird. The other things like the Luke and other kind of situations have been short scenes. Does that make sense? And they spent a lot of money and time to make just that one scene from Mandalorian over the course with that computer. Can you imagine doing a whole show? That's
That's
what
why
I'm
they
saying. It's a
hired
little
that guy
different.
from the YouTube.
The deepfake guy, yeah. I mean, I just think that's the difference. If this is going to be a bigger role, you recast. If it's just going to be a cameo, you don't. But that's kind of what some people are saying, that it's...
I guess, but then I don't know. It just doesn't seem consistent to me. Because then I'd want to be like, just hire hire Sebastian Stan as Luke. You know,
What, we gotta wait till for Mark Hamill to die before we do that?
Maybe.
Jeez.
Maybe, but if you got Mark Hamill to play Luke, just have him play Luke. Anyways, we never know. That's just kind of the rumors.
yeah, I don't want her to
going out there.
Yeah, she's going to be a different character.
Okay.
Yeah.
She won't be Leia.
The Lord of the Rings Amazon Prime TV show has a title called The Rings of Power.
Yes.
And they did a cool little intro video for it, basically.
It's so
All
cool
CGI.
It's so cool that it was all practical.
It's all practical, which is crazy because when I saw it, I was like, it looked kind of like it didn't look real to me.
Yeah.
But then, of course, like, goes to show you how stupid people are on the internet. They're like, man, it's all CGI.
CGI looked terrible.
And then they were like, and of course they were like, the music sounds like someone doing a Howard Shore impression. And they didn't quite get there. It was like, it was Howard Shore's music that you listened to, you freaking idiot.
Then they're like, Kate Blanchett sounds pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's exciting. I think the fact that it's practical gives me hope that they're taking the time and care for something that's like, hey, that was a 10-second thing that you're never going to see again. It's not even like it's the intro to the show or anything like that.
Well, that's what people thought, that you
Yeah.
were going to see that every time, like, or at least a version of that for
Right.
like the intro of the show. Do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think Jeffy B was just like, hey,
Yeah, he just gave
Here's
him
my
$1 million.
Christmas
He just
bonus.
gave him $1 million. To
like,
just
do
it.
that.
You make it real though, and I want to hang that once it's done in my office.
Yeah.
Dude, I would.
This show
Well, he
is,
put a picture of himself holding the thing,
Yeah.
so I was like, yeah,
this show is expensive. It's like $1 billion show.
yeah,
So it's crazy. And it just, I think the title's perfect. It gets me excited for what the show will be about. It's like we've got 20 rings that we can learn about, basically.
Yeah, it doesn't limit really, like, the stories that could be told.
Right.
Like if they said like the rise of Sauron, like that to me that kind of limits their view. So yeah, I think the title is really cool. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Will. He was saying that he didn't like the title because Rings was in it twice and it was right next to each other. To me, that I don't know. To me,
I'm gonna have to slap that kid.
to me, I didn't understand.
I've seen
there's too many rings.
I've seen a lot of people actually complain about that. They're like,
Really?
Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, whatever.
I don't know.
But some other things that came out about it, which changed later, but at least on the Amazon main title on the page, when it had the rating, it said TV 14 as the rating, which is not, people were thinking like, oh, it's going to be TVMA because they've been saying that. I think even the Wheel of Time is TV 16, which I think you see some butts in that show. But they were saying TV 14, and then later it showed up as TV PG. So who knows what's going on? But at least it seems
It'll
like
probably fluctuate.
I don't think it'll be like MA, which was like the biggest.
which I'm good. I'm
theater.
good with that. Keep it friendly.
Yeah.
Keep it safe.
And then there is, I don't think we've had confirmation yet, but it does look like Weta Workshop and Weta Digital and ILM are all working on the show.
They'd be so dumb not
Which
to involve
means
them.
like, you've spending all that money, you might as well get the best. So hopefully it'll look, if Weta Workshop's working on it, then
I think
it's going to look sweet.
Yeah, I'm happy with the title reveal. I'm happy with the rating. Again, I have really high hopes for the show.
I'm excited for it. Also,
Yeah, you're excited.
Clearly.
And then maybe we get a trailer for the Super Bowl. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the time to do
That'd be
it.
nice. That'd be nice. Hey Jeff, if you're listening,
hey Bezos.
I thought he was gonna premiere it when he went to space. That would have been a baller move. He's like, hey, I'm in space. Check out the new Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah.
Projected on the moon.
But all right, Jeff.
He kind of looks like Smeagol.
He does look like Smeagol, dude.
I feel like he has that one ring and he just disappears. And
Also, he's divorced now, so he's out there living his single life.
anything else?
Nope.
That's it.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube page, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, everywhere you get podcasts, you can find us. Like and share. Leave us comments if you want us to talk about anything. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.
Get well, Corey.